And so that leads you to see that our fundamental picture of reality is contingent, or our sense of what is normal and abnormal is really deeply connected to the family you grew up in, the language you speak, the time of history you're born. That brings you to philosophical reflection pretty quickly. The exciting and tragic and beautiful thing about being human is that there is no one human nature. We make what we are in our practices, in our traditions, in our activities. But that's a certain kind of ability. It's a certain kind of capacity we have to together set up things in our culture that matter to us and orient our lives to them. The punk rock scene is an amazing example of people who developed an articulation of what's wrong with the world and an identification of themselves in these linguistic articulations from the singers of punk songs that you can then self-apply as making sense of what's going on in the world and your sense of displacement in it. Because if we're too busy being efficient and optimal, we forget to ask for the sake of what. And that's where the question of care comes in. All that being said, it's wrong, dead wrong to think that they have language, that they speak language, or that they have language in the way that human beings do. In designing technologies, we're also designing ways of being human. That helps to grasp the stakes. We're designing ways of being human. How can we be alive to the responsibility there? The most important issue of our times is how to design and then create ways to use these technologies to enable us to keep in touch with these capacities for caring and for taking care together. Caring means discerning what matters, discerning what are the significant issues in life for us at this moment and in your own life, and then taking care. What are the practices and skills you need to take care of what matters to you, to tend to what matters, to use David Spivak's phrase. Tending to what matters is an activity. Caring is an activity. Mattering is a way of being, like we were talking about earlier. It's very important that if we're going to build systems that are going to integrate into our lives, that we're going to share the planet with, that we realize that intelligence isn't a free-floating capacity for problem solving. Intelligence is bound up with our capacity to care, because it's our capacity to care that sets up which problems are worth solving, what the priority is. And caring, problem solving and intelligence without caring will be a disaster, will be very dangerous, will be dehumanizing. But this would be to give up on the project of being human. This would be to give up on the project of attuning to what's worth caring about and loving and living for in this moment. It's important to remind ourselves that intelligence is connected to our capacity to care and not a problem-solving capacity, and that the dream of solving all problems and to looking at life like a series of problems to solve forgets to ask the question for the sake of what.